I love the sound of rain in the Airstream. Welcome to our channel. We're so happy to have you. If you're from Less Junk More Journey, I just wanted to let you know that the video you're about to see is from before we bought the Airstream. Videos with the Airstream will be coming in a couple weeks, so hold tight. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy this part of our journey. So as you guys know, Less Junk More Journey is a channel that we've been watching for a couple years, and we're totally inspired by them. They're one of the inspirations for us going on this trip in the first place. We got to meet them in Myrtle Beach and in Charleston. Anyway, we just found out through Patreon that they got a fifth wheel. So what that means is they're not going to be pulling their Airstream anymore for their travel. And we're thinking, what if we could buy their Airstream from them? We've been looking at Airstreams online and going in person and looking at Airstream classifieds for a couple years now, trying to find the Airstream classic model so we could remodel it just like they did. But what if it's going to be much easier than that? What if we can just buy their Airstream from them? So we just posted a message and we sent it over to Marissa. I can't wait to see what she writes back. I mean, part of me thinks since they didn't say anything when we met, maybe they've already got a buyer lined up or something. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward they probably have it all figured out already. There's a chance that they don't. What if we're able to just take over their rig and start living the life that we dream of, that we've been watching them do for a couple of years? It's pretty crazy, and it's also just crazy timing. I mean, we're at the end of our trip. We're literally on the home stretch driving back home, thinking, what are we gonna do? And then we get this alert saying, Marissa and Nathan have bought a fifth wheel. So it's like, okay, well, what's happening with the Airstream? Let's buy it. Let's do it. Let's jump on the road. Let's get this life started. We've been talking about it for 4 years, actually, because we watched Every Day Somewhere New before Lyndon was born. I'll link that below. That's the first video we saw that got us interested in Airstreaming across America. It just seems like all the stars are kind of aligning in a way. I mean, if it were to work out, it would just be some kind of cosmic situation because it would just be too perfect. We sent the message out about 10 minutes ago, and now we just have to wait and see what Marissa says. So we're in a bit of a pickle. We've been having so much fun on our Southeast road trip, going from town to town and city to city, but our allotted time has come to an end and it's time to get back. Next week is a family reunion that my mom has been planning for about a year. So we definitely want to be back for that. Family is super important to us and we wouldn't miss it for the world. The plan was for us to keep traveling around like we've been doing up until a couple days from now, where we were gonna get on an airplane in Raleigh and fly home just in time for the family reunion. A friend of ours was gonna meet us there, get our minivan and drive it across country for us so we wouldn't have to make that long trek with the 3 little kids. However, our friend had something come up and his plans had to change. So, well, we have a change in plans. I wanted to let you guys know. We found this out yesterday and we just decided to start driving west. We've gone over our options, we've consulted the map, the calculator, ourselves, and we've decided to make the drive on our own. From where we are right now, it's 42 hours to get to Cambria, California. Normally, we'd want to take a couple of weeks to make a trip that far with the 3 little kids in a car. So we have 6 days to make it all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina to Cambria, California. Wish us luck. It is what it is. This is what's happening. This is what we're doing. We're up for the challenge. We think we can do it. I've been trying to face my fear about getting an RV and starting to live in an RV full-time with our family. Michael's already there. He wants to start. He wants to do it. The kids, not that they really know what's going on, but they'd get in an RV and start living in an RV right now. It's pretty much been me who's had the reservations and the anxieties and the concerns and stuff like that. So part of this challenge, driving across country, is pushing myself and pushing past these fears that I have about our limits and our capabilities as a family. Let's do this. Let's push ourselves. Let's see how uncomfortable it is to drive longer every day than we might want to, or to drive more quickly from location to location. And I figure if we can do this, if we can get across the country with 3 little kids in 6 days, then what else can we do? If we can do this, then maybe we can live in an RV full-time too. So I'm game. Let's just see how it goes. Let's do it. Let's drive across country in 6 days. We've got it all mapped out. We've got the fastest, most efficient way figured out. Maybe it won't even be so bad. Sometimes life throws you curveballs, and we got one. Sometimes life throws you good curveballs too. So I'm not complaining. we are officially crazy. We are driving from coast to coast. And it's 3 p.m. now. We're in the car. We're driving towards Charleston, West Virginia, because a lot of the stops along the way, we're gonna have to stop at playgrounds and stuff like that just to let the girls run out their energy, because, you know, they're little kids. They can't sit in a car for very long. We're gonna do a lot of stopping. Oh, and also Olive's not just a little kid. She's a breastfeeding baby. So we're gonna have to stop a lot to feed her. Another neat thing is we're gonna be able to show Lyndon on the map, like where we're going and what we're doing. And I think she's really gonna start to grasp how big our country is and how much there is out there. We just did the first leg of our 42 hours and it was 3 hours. 3 hours down, 39 to go. We are in a little town called, I forget, but I'll put a title in. Oh my gosh, there's fireflies everywhere. I'm sure. Do you see a firefly?
I see a firefly. I'm gonna play. Papa.
I doubt the video is gonna catch it because they're just, oh my gosh, it's so cool. I think fireflies are just the coolest things. I never saw a firefly until Michael brought me to Chicago to meet his family, and I saw fireflies for the first time. And I just think they're the most magical things. I love them.
I wanna go play, Mom.
You can.
I wanna play games. Here, some ice cream.
Can you catch one?
So we drove 3 hours while they napped, and we ended up in this cute little town where they have a playground and this big awesome park, and then just 2 blocks away is Main Street with a pizza restaurant. So we just went there and ate pizza, changed everyone's diapers. Lyndon's in wearing a pull-up because we just want to be able to drive as much as we can. So she's reverted back to peeing in her pull-up. Hopefully not permanently. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Maple, what's that?
That's a lion.
What's it doing?
He's doing eating maple.
He's doing eating maple. So we're trying to wear them out. We're trying to let them get really tired, and then we're gonna get back in the car and hopefully try to get 5 hours in. We'll just drive until they wake up, and then we'll probably check into a motel in the middle of the night and get a few hours of sleep for the grown-ups, and then we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, so it's crazy. We've driven 17 hours in the past 24 hours. This morning we woke up in St. Louis. I love you, Arch.
Can't hear you
Why not?
because he doesn't have ears and mouths.
I guess 4 of us woke up in St. Louis. Michael never went to sleep. We drove all night. I did the first shift, he did the second shift, and we drove all the way from Raleigh to St. Louis. We stopped at Cracker Barrel at 7 a.m. No fear. Yeah.
Cheese!
I'm neighbor. Thanks, Ninin.
It's my Uncle Joe.
And then we went to the Children's Museum. And then we went to the Magic House, and we got there at 9:30 right when it opened. And we stayed there all morning to get them all good and tired. And it worked because we got back in the car and we just drove all the way to Topeka, Kansas. My goal was to drive.
Wait!
My goal was to drive to Kansas City, Missouri, and we exceeded that goal and went an hour past it and ended up in Topeka, Kansas. So here we are in Topeka. We just checked into a motel, and we're gonna walk to the park and find some dinner. And then Michael and I are gonna get some much needed sleep. The kids have had lots of sleep, but the grown-ups not so much. We're so tired, I can barely formulate thoughts, and I feel like I'm foaming at the mouth as I'm talking. So we've driven 17 hours in the last 24 hours. Is that right? We've driven 17 hours in the last 24 hours. We're crazy. Right now we're packing up from another night in a motel. We pulled 2 all-nighters with the kids sleeping in the car. The first one was highly successful. They basically all 3 slept all night, except for, of course, I had to stop and feed Olive a couple times, but it was minimal disruption to the big girls. which is amazing because Olive's sitting in the middle. So that first night, maybe it was beginner's luck, but it got us a little cocky, so we thought we could pull another all-nighter. The second all-nighter, not in a row, a day later, we tried another all-nighter, and that all-nighter was not so smooth. So we actually vowed to not do any more all-nighters until we get home because it was so miserable for everyone. So when we pulled in the motel in Green River, Utah last night at around, I guess it was 5, so it was in the evening, I hadn't slept in 2 days. So I was so incredibly tired. But we went out to dinner and we did baths, and yeah, it was a long day. So last night we all slept so hard. They didn't have pack and plays at the hotel, so we doubled up. We have our own pack and play here. But Lyndon slept with Papa, Olive slept with me, and then Maple slept in the pack and play. And it's almost 11 checkout time here, so we're gonna get on the road again and try to do a big long stretch. Are you ready to get out? Oops. So we're headed towards Vegas. We're probably gonna stop at a Target or a Walmart and get a DVD for the car. And we're just gonna go as long as we can. We have 12 or 13 hours to get to Cambria. So we have 2 more days of heavy driving. Everyone's doing so good. It's really hard, I'm not gonna lie. But we got it. We got this. We woke up in California today. We're home, basically. We have 1 more 4-hour drive until we get to Cambria, where we're meeting family. And we're gonna spend a week hanging out with family in Cambria. It feels really good to be back in California. We're in Cambria, which, if you haven't heard of it, it's remarkable because it's almost exactly halfway in between LA and San Francisco. It's cold here. You know, we came from the south where it was so hot. I had to dig into our bins and get all our cold weather clothes because it's cold here. I have to wear a sweater and a jacket and socks and all this stuff. But I like it. We're with Lyndon and Maple's cousins, Izzy and Kit and Charlie, and Grandma and Grandpa, Uncle Mike, Auntie Anna, Auntie Wendy. And we got an Airbnb, and we've just been having a ton of family time, and it's been so nice to rest and recharge and just soak up all the family that we've missed for the past 4 months. And look, I mean, you can't beat California. You just can't. Look. Today we're going to Elephant Seal Beach, and then we're going to the beach that has all the glass sand. I forget what that's called too. I forget everything. It's just constant mom brain. I never sleep. So we're bringing the kids to go look at the elephant seals. Oh wow. Do you know what sound they make?
Mm-hmm.
What do?
They do. Wah!
Arr, arr, arr.
Seriously.
That's the fur of the elephant seal.
I want to touch it.
Yeah, I want to touch it. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
You want to touch it?
You want to touch it, Maple?
Oh, it's hard and bristly. We have 4 days to spend here. Yesterday we went to Hertz Castle. William Randolph, is that his name? William Randolph Hearst. We just went to Hertz Castle with the whole family. There were 14 of us. Well, you drive to the parking lot and park, and then you take a bus up a big windy hill. And that was really excited for Lyndon because she's obsessed with school buses. So she got to feel what it would be like to ride on a school bus. And she got to sit in the back with Kit and Charlie. It was really exciting. And it's this windy hill. It kind of feels like you're gonna fly off the mountain, and you're looking out for zebras because apparently there are zebras that roam around on that hill. And then it takes about 15 minutes and you get up to the top of the hill and you're at Hertz Castle. And then the tour is about an hour long. And first they take you outside at the outdoor pool and the gardens, and then you go inside and you see the grand entrance, and then you see the dining room, and then you see the media room. I don't know if that's what they called it. The room where the theater, the room where they all watched movies after dinner. It's just a little bit hard with little kids because you're not allowed to touch anything. It's all really old stuff, and they're trying to keep it from being ruined. But it's really hard to tell a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old not to touch anything. So we ended up whipping out the iPad and giving that to Maple and giving my phone to Lyndon. And then 2 minutes later, the tour was over. So It turns out we made it all the way to the end of the tour without having to resort to technology. It was advanced parenting, but we did it. And now we're all starving, so we're gonna head back to the house for lunch. I got you some beans.
Can I have the wet bean?
We have yellow and orange today.
I want orange.
Beans, go over here on the red table.
I have so many cards. I have so many cards. I have so many cards. Hey, Ale.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, I'm Mama.
Hi, Papa. Okay, it's drop time with 2 of the 3 little trees.
Look what happened to Izzy. Kid doesn't have any legs. Are you thinking about getting wet?
Yeah.